a lot of these couples, well, most of them probably have not been to Hawaii or don't have that much of a familiarity with the area. I feel that sometimes our location is a bit more unique compared to others. For couples who are specifically planning a wedding on the island, what do you feel is a piece of advice that you feel will be very valuable for them to keep in mind as they continue to envision this wedding on the island?
I think the thing that comes to mind off the top of my head is just try and make a point of scheduling a visit at some point. In the course of planning, it's not 100% necessary, but I do think that if a couple can come and visit, not at the very, very beginning, I think it's good to kind of have a few things in the works, a few venues you want to check out, catering tastings to do, hair and makeup trials, cake tastings, these sort of things you cannot do from afar. And so if, before you make a decision about your venue or your caterer, it's nice if you can schedule a visit and try and do all of those things. But I feel like I have a lot of couples who get excited to do this, or there are a lot of couples who want to come to Hawaii before they've even done any research. And I think that's a lost opportunity. I think you definitely want to have some appointments in place. I think couples take for granted how busy wedding vendors are. And it's not like you can just call the caterer and be like, can I do a tasting this afternoon? They're like, no, you have to wait a month and a half, we're busy. So these are things that I will usually help my clients with before they make any big decisions. But yeah, that's the one thing I think is really helpful for when you're planning a wedding in Hawaii. I have a lot of other things, but I don't know if you want me to expand.
Yeah, that does make sense, especially with a venue. I feel like sometimes what's on the website is different from, what's on Google Images. It's different from what you see up close. And then you get really overwhelmed when you get there and you lose the time because you don't have this list of places that you really, really want to see.
Exactly. And you can't just pop by a venue. You have to set up an appointment to get a tour.
Yeah.
These are things that you have to factor in. And I mean, I'm such a nerd about it. When I have clients visit, I list out all the places they want to go and all the things we want to do. And then I plot out our daily plans by zones of the island. So they're not having to drive back and forth the entire time, because that's a waste of time too, So, and also you never want to do 2 tastings on one day. You'll just be so full and be miserable.
Oh yeah.
Even if the food's good, it's just going to be painful. So these are things that I think are really helpful to know. But kind of going back to what you were saying about the venue, if you can't, it is different on a website than in person. My hope is it's always better in person, at least the, venues that I like to suggest. But you aren't able to see things like what the restrooms look like, what the chairs they have available for you to use for your wedding actually look like in person. These things are not on the website. So you can get a lot more insight to your space and actually think about the guest flow and the terrain. All those things are factors you can.
And I think that's really amazing that you end up going with them on when they visit the venues, because sometimes there are things that they don't see from a planning perspective. Okay, this place looks good, but there's no power or something like that.
Yeah.
Or there are no restrooms.
Yeah, for sure. And whenever I do site inspections with my clients, I like to kind of walk them through the space and help them imagine how we would set it up, because I'm so familiar with that. I don't even know I have to imagine. I know what it's going to look like because I've done it enough times. But I think if you've never had to plan an event or think about rentals and what they're going to look like in a space, it's really hard and overwhelming to imagine what to do with the space. So that can be helpful to do in person.